Hello, cosmic family. It is a beautiful and windy day here in the island of magic. So you will be able to hear the singing, the wind chimes and some other sounds coming in. And it's sort of fitting because I was going to chat about something, a question that has been coming in about, will there be a civil war? Well, as a guide and as a survivor of civil war, it is very interesting to witness what is happening now. And as you might realize, and what so many other people do not realize, is that this division, all right, that so many are experiencing from both sides of the team, you know, let's say like in the election, is by design. Division by design. And this division by design, what's doing is it's keeping people in an emotionally reactive state. And the moment that we are emotionally reactive to a person, to a situation, to anything, they become our master, all right? And so right now, when humans are in a reactionary state, they are becoming the slaves of these masters. And when we realize that it is by design, when we see how the matrix works, we can take a step back. And when we take a step back, instead of being in reaction, we could say, well, if I'm a creator and I'm the master, then I have power. And if I have power within, I'm not talking about power over, because that's the frame that people understand power. I'm talking about just the inner power within. The power that we have when we are connected to our inner being, to our guides, to source. When we are in that power, we say, well, I can respond now. So how do I choose to respond? Well, when we understand that this division is by design, when we understand that the division by design is meant not just so that there can be some quarrel between these two sides, and then the sides can sort of say, oh, we have different opinions, that's all right, let's go now and get a beer and just come together. This division by design has a strong pull because it wants to lead us exactly to a place of war. Because when it leads to this place, there is an incredible amount of chaos that really weakens a lot of people. As we're noticing now, a lot of people are feeling emotionally, spiritually, and mentally weakened because there is a very strong pull by the media and mass think to stay in reaction, to forget what really matters. So if we want to experience peace and well-being, well, then we got to make a choice and experience that peace and well-being and unity within. And then it becomes manifested without. And this is not about denying what's happening. You can observe what happens. But if you observe and you're in reaction, that situation becomes your slave. And then you get so worked up, and then enough people get worked up, and combustion, right? It alchemizes, it transforms and manifests into a certain situation. But when we realize and we observe what's happening, and then we say, well, I have a choice in what thought I offer to it, and the thoughts that I have about the situation, I can choose. I know there's a great temptation. The great temptation is to observe something and to realize, ooh, I'm being lied to. Ooh, I'm being cheated. Ooh, this entity is manipulating me. Those entities are manipulating me. Ooh, oh, I'm angry. I'm upset. I want to do something about it. All right? And then what happens is we live in these emotions, and it's like a poison. And we think, oh, I have this poison and I'm going to use this poison to kill my enemies. But all we're doing is hurting ourselves with this poison, all right? All this rage and anger and frustration, if it's not allowing us to uplift to the next level, then we're just poisoning ourselves with it, all right? Expecting our enemy to die, all right? And the truth is that there is... that we want to experience any sort of change in the world out there, well, we want to be that change, right? And not just to speak about the change, but be it, meaning we've got to practice that vibration. So if we want to feel well-being, then we've got to practice that. If we want to feel peace, then we got to practice that. If we want to observe what is happening and maintain a sense of dignity and a sense of respect and a sense of inner power, then that's what we've got to practice. All right? And we practice that by the thoughts that we have about a certain situation. And are these thoughts allowing me to feel better and better and better, or are they continuing to keep me in this vibration of fear, frustration, anger? Oh, it's so easy to say, well, that's what the other side is doing. They can do that. That's all right. That's where ascension happens, when you are observing what is happening, but you are making a conscious choice, not just reacting unconsciously like a zombie. So as I mentioned, I've lived through civil war. I was born in a communist country that was very restricted. And I learned about freedom, and freedom was a big part of my personal experience. Okay? And not only did I witness people rising up and saying, we don't want this, we want more freedom because we're free beings. But later on, I noticed people rising up and saying, you know what? We don't like the government. The government is cheating us. And so they rose up, and there was civil war. And a lot of people realized that while it felt good to rise up, to get their voices heard, the ones who were really hurt and the ones who really suffered were just regular folks, regular people. And so we've got to be aware of this. These powers, these entities that want power over us, right? They're not affected by what's happening. Not at all. It's us, as humans of society, us regular folks. We are the ones who are sort of paying the price, emotionally, spiritually, financially. And the way in which we free ourselves from the control of any being is by first freeing ourselves within, realizing that we have a choice in how we want to think. We have a choice in how we want to feel. That's how we become masters. When we become masters, no one else can be a master of us. All right? So, be a master. Choose what you want to think, what you want to feel. You want peace? You cultivate that peace within. Not just intellectually or theoretically, but practice it every single day. That's where the power is. That's when you are in tuned and aligned to your inner being and you receive guidance from all of the galaxy. That's when we are guided moment to moment to make those choices that keep us lined up with that peace and well-being and upliftment. And then others will ask you, how do you do it? You just say, I just make the way that I feel very, very important. All right? So, we got this. But we've got to maintain that equilibrium within. That's the key. That is the key. Because it is in those moments that we receive the right guidance. If you enjoyed this message, feel free to join us on Facebook, the Ascension 7 group. The link is below. And feel free to share this message with anyone that you believe would benefit from it. Thank you. I see you, I hear you, I feel you, I love you, and I appreciate you.